Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready to have your soul shine? It's time for the Girlfriend Hour. We're so happy to have you here, and we can't wait for you to meet our incredible guests. But first, please put your hands together for our wonderful host, the enigmatic Shar Moore.
Welcome all to the Girlfriend Hour. I'm so incredibly proud to bring you this show. We have another outstanding lineup of guests ready to intrigue and delight you. As you know, at the Girlfriend Hour, we're all about raising people's voices, celebrating our stories, our achievements, and our successes. And boy, do we have some amazing examples of all of those things for you today. Let's get stuck in, shall we? We have a wonderful first guest for today's episode. Sheehan is the founder of Millennial Education, a holistic education course for self-development and empowerment. She has authored 6 best-selling books, and she has an incredible gift of medical intuition that I can't wait to hear more about today. Please welcome the intuitive Sheehan to the Girlfriend Hour couch. Woo! Hi, beautiful. How are you?
Thank you.
So excited to have you here today.
I am super excited to be here, Shar.
It's just such an interesting line of work that you've chosen to go into, or maybe it chose you. But you have such an interesting background. So tell everyone here about medical intuition and how you discovered that as a young child, actually.
Sure. So what is medical intuition? It is understanding the body besides Western medicine, that there's a superpower within each person called intuition. But the body will talk, and a headache is not just a headache, or cancer is not just a cancer. There's a story behind the story. How did I get into it? Where did it come from? I was born seeing the anatomy and physiology inside people. And that was kind of freaky. I grew up in Kuwait, and that was just taboo. It was seen as evil, and along the way, it found me. I was told it was evil, but I knew something within me. I had to share it. So I went to a destiny of nursing, pathology, and autopsies, and brought it all together.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's incredible. And growing up in Kuwait, again, as you said, it would have been such a foreign thing for people there to know that that's what you were gifted with. But as a child, this wouldn't have been a really easy gift to live with. How did that affect your childhood?
Yeah, so I was pinned with an evil eye. In the area that I lived in, I had an evil eye saying, you're bad, you're wrong. After I was born, my mum had cancer of the uterus, and I was blamed for that. So, yeah, the culture was very much not accepting of it. But that was all part of the journey as well.
And as a child growing up and going to school, you would hear or see or feel things, I guess, that others wouldn't. How did you cope with that, Jean?
So I didn't know how to say. I thought all of you could see like I could. So I would openly say that person's going to die, or that person's got something in them. And again, I was seen as bad, evil. So I learnt to shut down. I learnt not to say anything, and I learnt that it wasn't a gift, it was actually a lot of torture. So I didn't say anything, and I became really timid and quiet. Yeah.
And did it scare you hearing things or seeing things in others? And did it scare you as a child? Because I guess back then you wouldn't have learnt what you know now and understand it as much as you do, that when you're hearing or seeing things, did you sort of go, oh, wow, what's that?
Initially, no, because children are quite innocent.
Yes.
But then with the adults telling me it was bad and evil, I started to think, it's bad, it's wrong, don't do it. But I couldn't switch it off. Like I can see your beautiful outfit today, I can see all of the inside beautiful bits within as well.
Oh, you'll have to fill me in what's going on on the inside. Now, your decision to become a nurse, how did that come about for you?
So I was 16 years old. My mum was dying of cancer, liver and bowel cancer. I was nursing her at home. She was 43, and I couldn't cope. And I felt very guilty putting her into the hospital, but I couldn't cope at home, and she died on Christmas Day.
Oh.
And I became homeless from that time, and I made a decision that I need to give back to her, But is this the answer to understand the medical side plus the intuitive side? So that's when I made the decision, whilst I was homeless, I would finish school and go into nursing. And then the journey took it from there.
Amazing. And Jean, you got a nickname of the walking MRI. So that's not a nickname that I think a lot of us would have. It's certainly not my nickname. How did you get the term walking MRI? Where did that come from?
So I had a gorgeous client who was told, you've got to go and see Jean. You've had a hit on the head. He was attacked. He had all these things. The medical system couldn't find it. So he came to me for a consult. And straight away I just said, it's this, and you've got that, because I could see it like an MRI. Blood test, what are you? A walking, talking MRI? And it stuck. So that's how I'm known now, the walking, talking MRI.
Oh my gosh. And I'd imagine that that is a great gift to have. And certainly I think all of us would probably love to know things like that, especially about our loved ones. But does it also come with a bit of strain and pressure, being able to see things in others, and especially when you care for them? How has that affected you, your life, your family?
Yep. More when I was nursing, because I could see the patients, what was going to happen, and that the strategy or the procedure they'd take would actually kill them. So I couldn't say anything, and I just had to learn that that was their journey. As I've got maturer or older, I've learnt that it's not actually in my business. I can see, let them go through the process. But initially, it was quite stressful holding back. What do I say? Do I tell them? What do I say?
Oh, yeah, because there's a responsibility, I guess.
Yes.
But then if they haven't asked for it, then it's not actually your responsibility unless they are willing and open to receive the information. Because it's like everything. If we're not ready to hear it, we've got closed ears. We've got, two mouths and one ear rather than the other way around.
Yes.
And what does it mean when you talk about connecting through the heart? What does that actually mean?
That's it. The good question. So connecting with the heart, like you can see my heart glasses, it's that knowing where you really connect with the person, the thing, the situation, and there's just all you can have is love. And you just love the person. That's actually part of medical intuition, is just love them. And that's when everything does work out.
Yes, and it is, it's very much, I think all of us have probably been through this as well, where when we actually just stop and get out of our head for a moment, and look, we do need to, we've had some great people on this show on the business sense, and we need to look at all that side. And I think it's great having the balance, Jean, with you being on the show as well today, is that we can have the business side of it, but then having that heart side and looking through that lens every so often. How is it feeling? Is that what you're teaching your clients as well?
So feeling and intuition, I actually say we have 3 superpowers. Feeling, emotion, intuition. Okay. But we're so frightened of feelings, and the feelings aren't always bad. It's like if I think of a mango, my feelings are, give it to me now. I want it. Give it.
And now you've made me hungry. Thank you. Now I've got mango on the brain.
And then you go into the emotion of love, and then your intuition, it will direct you exactly where the mangoes are on sale, or a box of mangoes or whatever. So the superpowers are, we naturally do it, and especially for females, but we're frightened of that superpower.
Yes, I know there's sometimes where I've felt something really strongly, but it hasn't, fit with my plan. My control side is like, no. And then other times it's like, well, I'm just being called there, and it keeps showing up. I'm like, okay, I'll listen. And I finally do, and it works out brilliantly. And it's sometimes, I think, because our control nature. Anyone else a control freak here today? Yes, hello. And if it isn't in that plan, but then when we do trust it, the universe has our back. Big time, and it does know more than we do. And Jean, as we wrap up today, what's been your greatest lesson so far?
Probably the greatest lesson I've ever had, and I teach and will keep forever, is it always works out. Sometimes when we're in the throes of monkey mind, again, we just, as you said, the universe has always got our back, but ultimately, it always works out.
It always works out. We need that on a T-shirt. Well, thank you so much for being here today. Thank you so much. That's amazing. Brilliant. I could talk to you all day. Our next fantastic guest is an executive producer, business owner, storyteller and mentor. She is, of course, Yana Groves of Bloomtime Media. She is a diversity and inclusion champion, passionate about teaching people to stand out and be outstanding. Yana is an absolute force. Please give me a warm girlfriend hour welcome to Yana Groves. Look at you. You are outstanding.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm surprised I could walk.
Please have a seat. Outstanding. What a pair of shoes. What a woman. I love it. Amazing. Oh, Yana, you have such an incredible journey and career in journalism and film production. Tell us where this passion came from to produce.
Well, when I was younger, I suppose I was a little bit of a show pony. I always liked the theatre, performing. I loved, I had a fascination with television. But for many years, thought I would be an archaeologist or a nurse or a dinosaur. So, but reality hit. And, you know, I'm very, very lucky to have fallen into content creation. I now work on big TV shows like MasterChef, Celebrity Apprentice,
The Girlfriend
My
Hour.
Kitchen Rules, The Girlfriend Hour.
Yes.
The best. Yeah, so really, I just started off doing a drama and media degree and decided to go more into the media side. So,
amazing. Yeah. Fantastic. And look, it's been so diverse. You've grown up in Poland, you've lived in Sweden, in the US. Tell us all about that journey. How exciting.
well, it's the norm for me, I suppose.
Yes.
My family are the united colours of Benetton. We are from all different backgrounds, races, religions, creeds. So I'm very lucky to have had that sort of wealth of culture. And that's why, you know, I feel it's important that we don't pigeonhole ourselves.
Yes.
And that's given me perspective and storytelling as well.
Love that. And where do you call home now?
Home is Australia.
Okay. Yay for
now.
us. Yay.
Australia! I love Australia. I love Australia.
Yes.
Love it.
Yes. We just needed to move to the Gold Coast.
I love it because it has such a richness of nature, a richness of culture. And I think it's really on its way to, you know, becoming a globally recognized talent when it comes to my industry.
Yes.
I've seen it excel over the last 17 years. Now other countries do look to Australia on how we produce shows.
Nice. Yes, that's what we want. Well done. Love that. Yes, absolutely. Now, you've been in the roles that you've had, you've been one of the first and only Black women in production around the world. Take us through how that felt, one, to be one of the first and only. How did that feel in a room full of men and other women, but not, you know, it's such a big deal in that industry. How did that feel for you?
Well, this sort of ties in with my philosophy. I genuinely feel that I want to be seen as Yana, as me, as a person, as a human being before my race.
I love that.
Or my gender.
Yes.
I'm a human being first. So can I do the job?
Yes.
And I'm certainly not the best at the job I do. I work with huge teams, massive teams of incredibly talented people. I just don't want to be separated or treated differently because I'm a woman or of colour.
Yes.
So it's a by the by that I'm one of the first women to do the roles that I've stepped into. It's by the by. And actually something that I haven't spoken about.
I love that.
You know, I haven't needed to over 30 years, really, because I've just put my best foot forward and worked as hard as I could just to ensure that I'm treated like another human being.
Oh, honestly, I could do a whole show just on this topic. It gets me so fired up. I'm Indian-Australian talk show in Australia, and you know how many times I've been told you're just an Indian girl. What were you thinking? Without looking at my skills or my potential.
That's right.
Can they just judge us if they're going to judge us at all as a human being? Can she or can she not?
Right.
Regardless of the fact that I don't have formal education. Don't you agree?
100%.
Woo! Yes, girlfriend. My gosh. It's irrelevant.
It's
And
irrelevant.
so it must have come with its challenges, as it has for me over the years.
Of course.
What's presented for you over the time?
Well, I say of course. Because I have such a diverse background, being British, I lived in the States for, 5 years. I went to junior high, high school, and elementary school. So I experienced the 80s in the States. I know what the racism situation is there. And that was a whole other kettle of fish because, historically, as we know, the 80s was a very positive time. Things are very difficult at the moment in the States. Britain, yet again, a different situation culturally. So, but in my industry, because it's run by like-minded people, I've rarely been treated differently.
Yes, okay.
I've been respected. Once you're in the fold and once you're working in a production in a team of fabulous people, we're all a little bit odd. We're all a little bit different.
Thank you.
Right? It's running away with the circus. That's what my industry is. And so I'm around other people who've run away with the circus.
Excellent. So I'm in the right place, basically.
Yes. Welcome to the circus.
I love that. And Yana, with Bloomtime Media, you're now helping other people get their big break. Take us through the work that you're doing now.
So I started Bloomtime Media 4 years ago, having worked with some of the biggest production companies in the world on some of the most recognizable brands, in unscripted. And I got to the stage where I realized if I don't progress or make something of the career that I've given so much to and that has given me so much, then it's sort of been a worthless task in some way. So I've always wanted to find a way to give back and find a way to really encourage, grow, and support people who want to enter the industry because it's a tough space.
Yes.
And it's very hard to enter.
Yes.
It's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yes. And now I know Yana.
Right? And now you know me. So luckily, I've set up an incredible set of courses, traineeships, mentorships for people who want to upskill, sidestep, or enter the TV world.
Fantastic.
So it's exciting. Yes, so my next one is huge. Oh, I'm so excited about it. So what I do is I bring in industry leaders to act as mentors, to act as mentors within the course.
Wow.
So that's the door. Those are the doors that open up for people. You're face-to-face with these legends in Australia and in the world. And I guide the whole thing. Our next one is a 2-day TV producers course.
Oh.
And we're coming to the Gold Coast.
Okay. I hear you, universe. Yes, yes, yes. We need to talk. Now, I want to get this right, so I'm going to read it. But you shared your belief with us that women are the product of our foremothers' power. As we wrap up today, can you please explain this to us?
I have been reflecting with a few of my girlfriends, apt for the girlfriend hour.
Yeah.
So I'll reflect with you. Can we reflect?
Please, girlfriend, let's do it.
Let's reflect. If it wasn't for the decisions of our mothers, our grandmothers, our great-grandmothers, etc., we wouldn't be sitting here. And whether those decisions were happy decisions or whether they were quite often or always really to save themselves or to do something better for their children, we are the product of those decisions. And if they hadn't been ballers and the strongest, baddest beeps in the world, we wouldn't all be sitting here today. And I think it's quite amazing whether they have done the right thing or the wrong thing. They did the best they could at the time. And all of those decisions have led to this moment. So it's pretty special that we're here.
Let's give it up for Yana Groves. I love that. Thank you so much. Amazing, amazing. All right, ladies, let's have a D&M.
Let's have a D&M.
Yes. I want to welcome Jean and Yana back to the floor for our regular D&M session. Today I want to explore all things intuition with you both. What does it feel like, Jean, for you when your whole body says yes and then when it says, oh, get me out of here?
No, that's pretty. You need to follow it. Even when it says yes and get me out of here, keep going. Keep going. Just keep going. Because that really is intuition. When it's initial yes, ignore the always.
Really? So if you get the yes first and then the what are you thinking second, still keep going?
Keep going.
Okay.
Keep going.
Okay, so it's monkey mind stuff?
Oh, monkey mind.
Monkey mind.
Definitely.
Okay.
And every other mind, definitely.
Okay. Yana, how have you experienced this?
It's on a daily basis, really. And whether it's taking a job or going on a trip or saying something that might be difficult to say or share with a friend, there are moments where you go, and the intuition literally dumbs you. So, there comes a point at which you go, well, maybe this isn't the right thing to share, and what are the implications if I share this with a friend? But in terms of my career, 100% it's been led by intuition. Sometimes I have felt I shouldn't be doing this job.
Right.
I certainly shouldn't be taking this on, and I've been convinced to do it, but
Didn't work.
it didn't work.
Yes. Yeah, so that first feeling was right. And so how do we know what signals should we trust, what signals shouldn't we listen to? How do we know which one's which? Does anyone else struggle with this? You sort of get this feeling, but then you get this one. And so how do you actually know which one was the right one?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
What if it was just superpower feeling, emotions and intuition, that feeling where it's like, beware of the monkey mind going, no, like Yana said, she would thought, don't go there. She pushed into it, but it's right here in the heart. Everyone talks about it in the gut. It's actually in this space right here. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, have you found that as well, Yana?
Yeah, very much so. And it's sometimes you may have eaten something gives you something going on in your gut.
That's not intuition. That was a bad kebab.
That's just, but no, I feel that we have a sixth sense, a monkey mind, something else. We've got something else operating. There's a larger story. I feel like there are lots of, whether it's nature or whether it's another force, but we're all being told which way to turn in our path. And everything's there for a reason, I believe.
Yes. And do you think it's something that just women have? Like they often say that women are quite intuitive. Men have it as well? What do you think, Jean?
Men have got it, but they don't like it.
Okay.
It's not macho.
Because it is a woman's voice that they don't like hearing? Or what is it?
But women have got it stronger. That's actually one, as I said, I'm going to keep coming back to superpower. Women have it. If you work with it, it takes you right on the pathway. Always, job, parenting, whatever it is. But men are frightened of it.
Okay. That's interesting. Have you found that as well?
My husband's got incredible intuition.
Oh, so was mine, actually. Yes. Yeah, tell me, what's...
He's great at sort of going, I can feel, something doesn't feel right about this. Which is good, because then we both go, let's have a listen to both our guts. Let's see, and we trust each other.
Yes.
And whether we need to justify maybe not listening to it in that moment.
Yes.
Maybe it was something we ate.
Yeah.
But, it's nice to have someone to bounce off and really talk about what that feels like.
Yes, that's true. And when my husband does that, and often he's really strong with it, and so he will bring up something because I don't see it in others, and I go, no. And sure enough, a week or two or a month later it'll happen. I'm like, So now after 30 odd years of being together, I'm like, when he says something, I park it and I go, okay, I'm going to be really open and aware. Tell me a time, Yana, when you've truly trusted your gut and it's absolutely worked out for you.
Moving to Australia.
Oh.
we
Well, it worked out for us too. Just saying.
well, again, I won't bore you with the story because it does take 4 days to tell. But my husband and I met 17 years ago in Sweden. He's Norwegian. I am English. We had a long-distance relationship for 6 months. And he suggested we move to Australia after 6 months. After 3 months, actually. After 6 months, we were living here. So that was gut instinct. That was, oh, well, here we go. And we both closed our eyes and jumped.
Wow.
And here we are.
And there was a plane that built on the way down.
That's right. That's
landed
right.
you here.
There was a soft landing.
Yes.
And, but yes, I feel like, that, again, I suppose this is my theory and my belief that life takes us on so many different, paths, and it's all leading to a certain point. And if you've got that end goal in mind, you can look at the dots looking back, connect the dots looking back, but everything's for a reason.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I'm happiest when I'm in flow.
Yes.
When I'm in flow, I can hear that my gut is very happy with all of this.
Yes.
You know?
Yes, and it is so uncomfortable when you're not in flow. I go through it often with all these big things we're doing, TV shows, and it's like, but then it wasn't meant to go that way. It was meant to go this way. Tell me a time it's worked out for you, Jean, when you've trusted it and it's just gone, yes.
I'm here, aren't I? Like, really? Basically every time. And it is the flow. When you tap into that intuition, everything unravels. However, sometimes clients will say, but Jen, when it doesn't unravel, is it flow or intuition? And I say, stop, breathe. The dots are lining up.
Yes.
So even when it's a wobble,
Yes.
that's intuition. It's
reason.
lining up. Yes.
Correct.
And everything is there. So I'm going to say every time, even though we don't realise there's that monkey mind, strange food in the tummy again, all those things.
Yes, amazing. How fabulous are these ladies? Please help me thanking them for being on our show today. You're amazing. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks, Jean. Thank you, Yana. Thank you. That was so great. Thank you. You're amazing. How fabulous. I'm going to invite our producer Kelly to come and give me a hand to give away some of these prizes because I just can't carry them all myself. Give her a round of applause. Rock star. We have some fabulous sponsors that have gifted us some amazing gifts, and I sometimes wish I was sitting there instead of here because I really want them all. We have a grand prize, which is this sparkly segment up here, which means you win everything. And we also have amazing gifts from Be Styled for Life, our prize wheel main sponsor, Storm in a D Cup, Women in Bloom, a pair of these Cool Kick shoes, gorgeous Lisa Pollock picnic basket and hamper, and a gorgeous gift from Fashion Flaunt. Who's feeling lucky?
Who is feeling lucky? Well, I have to say, because we've had a very regal lot of guests being British, I think anyone that's wearing a beautiful headwear should come on down to see Shar.
Come down. Oh, isn't it gorgeous? Beautiful. You look divine. How are you?
Hello. Please tell us who you are. Come on in.
Hello, everybody. My name is Vicky Magic.
Hello, Vicky, and that's a great surname. Magic. How are you? Nice to have you on the show.
Thank you. It's amazing to be here.
Tell us about this outfit. Is this matching?
This outfit, well, I read in the thing that it was like bright colours and dressed to express.
Yes,
So-
you've certainly done that.
So, yeah, I always like to be shiny and bold and happy.
Love that. Yeah.
Well, you should spin the wheel.
Definitely.
You've earned it,
Let's
and it
fill
was
your
worth
arms
dressing
up.
up.
Thank you. I'm very excited. Whatever I win is perfect, or even if I win nothing.
Oh, everyone's a winner here at the Girlfriend Hour. Do you have a favourite number?
7.
7. We're going to give her some 7 vibes.
7.
Yes. All right, give it a big spin.
Thank you.
Come on, lucky number 7. Come on, lucky number 7.
Woo!
Come on, lucky number 7. Ah, number
You have won a Be Styled for Life style session and a gorgeous leather wallet. Congratulations. Woo! Oh, there's the hand. Thank you, hand. Congratulations.
Oh, it's red, my favourite colour.
Congratulations, Vicky. Thank you for playing. Wow. And we'll be back right after this.
It's never too late to become a cover girl. We're looking for incredible women to be profiled in our upcoming issue of Feminescence magazine. Share your story with an international audience, unlock new opportunities, inspire a new network of supporters. It's time to back yourself. We can't wait to hear about the magic that is you. Visit feminescence.com.au to find out more. Come on, what are you waiting for? Carpe diem, girlfriend.
Okay, it's time to strap in for our next guest, who is bound to absolutely blow you away. He's a highly sought-after motivational speaker and performance coach, known by his clients as the Transformer. He's the Amazon best-selling author of How Would Love Respond? And he's next to join us on the Girlfriend Hour couch. Please put your hands together for the powerful Kurek Ashley. Woo!
Hey, Shar.
Hi.
Fantastic.
So good to see you.
Nice to be back.
Have a seat.
Wow. I'm a little surprised the girlfriend hour. Why you guys have me, but anyways.
It's all about everyone, and it's about amazing people, which you are. Kurek, how does one become a successful coach?
Well, I would say first you have to be an ongoing student, just about life. And for me, it was just something very, very passionate about helping people fulfill their goals and dreams. And whenever you're passionate about something, the education of what you need to learn just kind of comes on board.
And now you've been given the nickname as Transformer.
Yeah.
That's a big nickname because taking someone from here to there. So how did that actually come about? I'm sure there's a story there.
Well, it's because I turned into a robot from a car. No, actually, Steve McLaughlin, who produced the movie I, Robot with Will Smith, and Marty Weiss, who's a big writer for Disney. Marty's daughter came home in Beverly Hills. She was 14 years old, had a Mexican accent. He thought it was funny originally until it kept going for weeks and weeks, and turns out she runs away. He finds out she's joined the Mexican gang, which is very prevalent now in Beverly Hills because they've glamorized through Hollywood and stuff what being a gang member looks like. And he had to send her to a deprogramming camp for 2 months, 2 years rather, in Montana. And so they said, we got to create a show to help kids because this is a big problem. And Steve said, well, there is only one. It's Kurek, and so the show's called The Transformer, and it's kind of been tagged on me. So
that's brilliant. What a story, and what a great line of work that you do. But what do you love most about it?
I think I have the best job in the world. I get to watch people fulfill their dreams. I mean, it's you watch people who don't even believe they can do it themselves and then produce something that's just amazing and then become inspirational for other people. And one of the things I think I've gotten famous for here in Australia is taking the women's beach volleyball team to win gold medals at the Olympics. And not a bad job, girls in bikinis, and they paid me for it. So.
I love that.
I feel like Elvis.
Yeah.
The bald Elvis, that is.
Yeah. What's the number one thing, like when you're working with clients, there's a lot of inner voices. What do you think is the number one thing that holds people back from achieving their goals? Is it that they're scared of actually getting them, winning them?
No, it's actually telling stories. People are famous for telling the stories of, I was raped, I'm a victim, this happened to me, I was abused as a kid. But stories create what I call drama glue. They keep you stuck in your story. And
drama glue. Did everyone hear that? Drama glue. I like that.
Yes. And then how many people here have people in your lives that's all they want to do is tell you their drama story. So then we're stuck listening to it. That's drama glue. Yes. And so, and then afterwards you have to leave and go home and take a shower. And people are, what is that? It's drama glue. I got to wash it off me. It's... because then you're stuck in your story and it becomes your story, but it's not even the truth. It's an edited interpretation of what you think happened. Instead, start telling the empowering stories about, the successes you had in your life and the places you're going to go in your life. I mean, we've all everybody goes through the same stuff. Everybody's got dramas. Everybody went through COVID drama and GFC and all this stuff. But successful people, we learn how to manage how we think and feel differently about those things. So like during the GFC, when people were freaking out and selling their businesses or their homes, successful people were buying them because they were cheaper.
Yes.
So it's just managing how you think and feel differently.
Yes. Yeah, I love that. There's so many great points. I hope you're writing this down if you're at home and not driving while watching this, of course.
I hope you're filming this. This is like some of my best content.
People talk about bad moods. And, I've had many a conversation, and I've probably said it, I'll be honest. Anyone else here said it, someone put me in a bad mood. How do we deal with that when people say to you, I'm in a bad mood, or someone has put me in a bad mood? How do you deal with that with your clients, and how do you help everyone get out of it?
Well, it's funny when you say other people did that. I mean, again, it's people love giving their responsibility away to others.
Yes.
My mom, my dad, my brother, my whatever. My sister didn't talk to me for 20 years because she was pissed off I was successful, because I've always been known as the weird one in the family, but it's the weird ones that change the world. So I actually like that title.
Oh, I'm really happy to hear that.
Yeah. Thank God.
Yeah, right.
But it's, the first thing you have to do is take responsibility. And the word responsibility means the ability to choose how you respond. So if you look at the word, it's right there in the word. When you choose a new response, you get a new result. Yes. And so that's the one thing we start looking at, is that everything I teach is based on the laws of physics, cause and effect. Right? So that means every result that you want there's some action or series of actions that will produce that. So we just start looking for what will produce this result and then start putting it into action. It's not that challenging. It makes me look brilliant because it always seems to work, but it's all cause and effect.
My head is just going a million miles an hour now. And so if someone's watching at home, or anyone here in the audience maybe, and they've been in a bad mood for some reason, what tips do you have for them? How do they get out of it?
Easy. The game changers, the quality of your life is determined by the quality of your communication. And the quality of your communication is determined by the quality of questions that you ask. So start asking better questions, like, what am I grateful for today? By the way, if you're grateful, it shows the love that you have for everything you have in your life. And if you don't have gratitude, your creator says, why would I give you anything else when you don't appreciate what I've already given you, which is everything?
Great point.
And the other thing is what's great about this? So as you know, Shar, I've known you a long time, is in 1989, I was doing a movie with Chuck Norris. I used to play bad guys in the movies. People go typecasting. And I was in a helicopter crash where 5 of my friends died. And for 2.5 years, I had a gun in my mouth and drugs up my nose. And, because I was focusing on the worst part of what happened, including my best friend dying in my arms on fire. And so the question that changed my life was, what's great about this? And I know it's a really weird question when you're in the throes of drama and trouble, but I forced myself to get an answer. And the answer was, well, what's great about this? I lived. And at least my buddy died in my arms, not in a stranger's arms. And that I was here giving as much care to those people as could be possibly done. And I did save 2 people's lives that day. But see, when you're caught up in your drama, you don't focus on those good things. So by asking new, empowering questions, you're going to change your focus, and then that's going to change how you operate towards everything. It's not that difficult. I'm glad you paid so many of my friends to be in the audience. That's all.
It's not that difficult, yet so many people struggle with it. And, here in Australia, if you're watching this around the world, here in Australia, we have a thing called tall poppy syndrome. And people really struggle with celebrating their wins because there might be something else going on in someone else's life that's quite difficult. And so I saw this during the pandemic, and it made me so, so sad that so many people shut down their good news, their award, their celebration of something they've achieved as a milestone, because I saw it happen. They would share it, and then people would say, how can you do that with the world going through blah, blah, blah? And I understand that people struggle, but there are also some great things. Why do you think we have this culture of when someone's doing something really great that we feel the need to pull them down? Is it because that person is so lonely and unhappy and hurt themselves maybe? Or what are your thoughts on this, Kurek?
Well, Shar, when you say why do people, there's 2 groups of people on the planet, the majority and the minority. right? The majority of people, by the way, the most consumed drug on the planet are known as antidepressants. The successful people, again, like I said, and what I mean successful, it's holistically successful. It's successful in all areas of life, because what's important being rich if you're sick, or wealthy if you're lonely? It's having all of it. But successful people, we actually encourage each other. It's the masses. But if you read the Bible, and I'm not religious. My mom was Jewish. My dad was Christian. I was just really confused. Like, what are these people doing together? It didn't last long, trust me. But the thing is, if you read the Bible, nothing's really changed in 2,000 years. It's just the information travels faster. Some people get it. Most people don't. And it's the minority, the top of the pyramid, that actually changes the world. It's the majority that waits for it to be changed. So I would recommend that you hang out with more empowering people. If you hang out with people who are naysayers and complaining about life and all the rest of that stuff, your life turns out to be that. If you hang out with people and people go, well, I don't have the access like you do, Kurek. I mean, man, you're friends with Sylvester Stallone and all these people. Like, well, wait a minute.
And Shar more.
But people don't understand is Sly's a guy. He's a person. And John Travolta,
Correct.
I've known John for a long time. They're people.
Correct.
But they're empowering people. And the reason I was living in my car and being invited to Stallone's house for Christmas, and people come up and they go, why do you have Kurek here? He's a loser. And I go, I'm right here. I can hear you.
Aww.
But Sly goes, you got no idea who this kid is, because in his head, he's already a success. And it's just a matter of time that his results will catch up with his mindset. And so hang out with people who have that mindset. And if you can't do it in person, do it through autobiographies or biographies or whatever you can, podcasts, and start listening, because then you'll adopt that mindset. And you won't be pulling people down. You won't let people pull you down, because all successful people we've had to go up against the people who cut you down or try to cut you down. And I mean, like the guy at the party telling me I'm a loser in front of everybody. I'm like, okay, you can think whatever you want, but you got to remember, they told Elvis at the Grand Ole Opry, he should go back and drive a truck. Well, nobody remembers who told him that, but everybody remembers Elvis. So that's, you just got to cut the dialogue out of your head and move forward, because all successful people, we have to be focused on where we're going and cut out the story.
That's why I love this guy.
I love being on this show. I feel like Elvis, all these women. It's
I
beautiful.
just think there's moments in your life where you work so hard, and producing something like this hasn't been easy. And it's just those few words that you've just said that I'm going to rewatch this, because they landed right here. Thank you.
And Shar, it's wonderful that you say that, because people see a person like you and they think everything you touch turns to gold. Because we've known each other like 20 years.
Yeah.
I've been speaking at your events. I know the struggles that you go through, and certainly you want to put something on like this and everybody wants to shoot you down. But you got to remember, is Oprah was a woman who was given birth by like a 13-year-old. I don't know if you guys understand this. She's a black woman. You guys know that? In America, land at home and free, except for if you're a person of color or ethnicity or something like that. And she believed in herself. She kept reinventing herself to become the most powerful person in TV history, and still to this day. But when she first had her show, it was a drama show, just like Jerry Springer. And then after the whole thing on Geraldo, where there was a big fight, she said, I'll never do a show that's not empowering anymore. Well, her ratings tanked. But because she had enough money, she kept her own show on until it became the hit of Oprah. And so you have that, but we have to cut out the people who are going to tell you can't make it, because that's the majority.
Absolutely.
They're just trying to pull you back into the hole. Instead of being inspired to get out,
Correct.
they'd rather pull you back.
Correct. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Now, motivation is not something. Thank you.
I like it.
Yeah.
I have one. She thought, is that Vin Diesel?
Motivation is something that we all often look for, and sometimes we can't find. And when you're not a transformer, you're a human being. How do you find motivation on days where you would just really rather stay in bed?
I think he's here. There he is. There's my son.
Yay!
And
hello.
that is my inspiration. My mom was dying of cancer. Like I said, my mom was Jewish. So when she was dying of cancer, I called her up and she said, save your money. Don't fly home. I go, Mom, I'm coming home. Just don't die just yet. And on her deathbed, after spending 10 days with her, she opened her eyes and said, have babies. I said, Mom, now? You got nothing else to... And I said, I promise. You know what? And she said, but I go, you got to stay around to see him. She goes, don't piss me off. Just have him. That was her cancer voice, you know. And so I said, I promise. And so it took me 50 years to get ready to have my son. And he is the thing that gets me up every day. It's the best thing that ever happened to me. Aww. And I find my mom and my dad in him every day. You know, it's he's there. And he keeps me going. And he keeps me on track because I'm a real guy. A couple years ago, my last wife had an affair and blah, blah, blah with a friend of mine and, you know, really took me down. And I said to him, buddy, I'm down, but you're going to see me turn this around and how I do it. Because that's the best lesson I can teach you is real life experience. Because I'm a real guy. I believe God puts me through this stuff just so I have better seminar stories, you know?
I love that. I love that. And our kids are very much our motivation and our best life's witnesses as well. You know, they watch and see everything that we do and don't do. And they do hold us to task. I certainly have a few that do that as well.
Oh, and he keeps me humble.
Yes.
He said, Dad, what's your hair look like when you grow it out? I said, it's kind of, because I shaved it for a movie called Airheads with Adam Sandler's first film. And it became my look. And I said, oh, it's salt and pepper. And so I grew it out one weekend and he goes, Dad, it's all salt. There's no pepper. Thank you.
I love that. I love that. Kurek, what are some of the daily habits that you practice yourself or teach your clients that you might be able to share with everyone here and watching at home today?
Every morning when you wake up, you have an empty tank, right? And if you walk out into society and your tank's empty, don't be surprised people throw their garbage in your empty tank. So every morning I fill myself up with feeling good. So I read affirmations, I read my goals every day. I have what I call my identity statements, which is my I am statements. I exercise, I meditate, I do all these things to take care of me first so that when I walk out the door, by the way, when your tank's filled up, there's just no room for other people's garbage and it just doesn't bother you the same way anymore. So invest in yourself. And then throughout the day, I just, you know, I'm busy like everybody else. Not only do I have a business, I'm a dad, I have a farm. And yes, I work the farm by myself. I don't really grow a whole lot. Weeds, I'm really good at growing weeds.
Me too.
Throughout the day, I just take a moment and I do 6 deep breaths to just clear the slate so that you're not wearing it all day long. And then after a certain hour, I shut down. I don't do any business. I don't want to talk about business. I don't get on social media. I just spend time with myself and my son and my partner and the rest of those things and take care of myself because if you let yourself run down, how are you going to help anybody else out? If you don't have self-love, every issue we have is a self-love issue because when you really love yourself, would you allow yourself to stay poor? Would you inject drugs? Would you be an alcoholic? Would you smoke cigarettes? Well, that's not how love responds. Love would want you to have everything you want so that you can, but whatever we're filled with, you're going to spread to everybody around you. So fill yourself up with self-love. And it's funny how people backstage were saying, God, you're such a loving, giving guy. And I go, it's because I fill myself with love every day.
You've got enough to give everyone else.
Because it's abundant.
Yeah.
Love is abundant.
Absolutely.
But
give it up for Kurek Ashley. How amazing. Kurek, fantastic. We have a fun segment now called Time Out. Time Out is going to help everyone start to think to travel again. So, Kurek, if you're up for the challenge,
let's go.
We are going to ask you some fun rapid-fire travel questions. Nothing risque, I promise. Maybe. What's the most enlightening thing your travels have taught you?
That people around the world are all the same. No matter where you go, people are people. Everybody has love. Everybody has laughter. A smile means smile. Everybody's family. What makes us different is what makes us unique.
Yeah, I like that.
So wherever I go, I'm home. Because if I die, I want to die at home. So wherever I go, I make it my home. And I've been all over the world.
That's awesome, isn't it? I love that. I love that so much. What's the best or weirdest souvenir you've ever purchased?
Best or weirdest souvenir? Well, I have a magnet that's still on my fridge. I got it in Malaysia, and it says, Jesus called, he wants his religion back. It was the weirdest thing to find in Malaysia, of all places, but I keep it on my fridge. I don't know, it's weird, but I don't know what else I buy really weird.
Yeah, sometimes you buy those holiday purchases, and they're great when you're there and you get home and go, okay.
Well, I have bought some of those, like, Chinese hats,
Yes.
and they're great when you're over there or in Bali or whatever. And then you get on the plane with it, you can't fit in your overhead, and you get home, and there's no way you're going to ever wear that in public again. So that's probably one of those things.
That's one of those ones. What's a dream vacation spot for you?
I love Hawaii, always have. I've been there many times. Hawaii is just one of those amazing places, but living on the Sunshine Coast, it's like having a much bigger Hawaii, which is awesome.
Yeah, perfect. Love that. What's the first thing that you do when you get home from traveling?
Well, because I live on a farm and the rest of those things is just get on the front deck and look at the views and breathe it all in. Again, I go to gratitude and just appreciate the life that I have and the rest of those things. Traveling is wonderful, and also being home is wonderful. And I think to have a good balance of both.
Yes, definitely. What's the longest road trip you've ever done?
Oh, Elijah and I just did it last year. We went to Uluru and then drove 3,000 kilometers up to Darwin and stops along the way. I will say Tennant Creek is not the most glamorous city to live in, but a friend of mine lives there. And then the funniest thing is, we land in the Sunshine Coast Brisbane about 2 a.m, driving home, and about 10 kilometers away from the house, a kangaroo hits the front of my vehicle and wipes out the front of my truck.
Oh, no.
3,000 kilometers, didn't hit a mosquito, and wiped out my truck.
No. Oh my gosh, lucky you're both safe. What's the longest?
Oh, he slept through it.
Oh, he slept.
we got out of the car and he goes, Dad, what happened to the front of the truck? I go, could it be the kangaroo we hit? He goes, what kangaroo?
You're a great sleeper.
Yeah.
I love that. Love that. What's the longest plane ride you've ever done?
To Paris. And the reason I say that is my first wife and I got sick in Hong Kong and then got over it. She got on a plane. The moment we took off, she got sick. And for 15 hours, was vomiting and the rest of those things. It was by far the longest plane ride. But I think time-wise was when I went to the Philippines to go do Delta Force 2 with Chuck Norris. And that was like 17 hours from LA.
Oh, that's a long trip.
Yeah.
Apart from your book, of course, but what's your favourite book to read during a long trip?
I would love to respond.
Yeah.
My favorite book of all times is called Illusions by Richard Bach, who wrote Jonathan Livingston Seagull, and it's about a modern-day Messiah. It's a great book. It's a short little book. And a friend of mine, it turns out, just wrote the script in Hollywood for it to be made as a movie, which now I might have to go back and be in it. I'm not. I'm retired.
What's the most romantic place you've ever visited?
Wherever I am.
Great answer.
Sorry. Most romantic place is Paris. It is romantic whether you're with a partner or not. It just has that feel about it, the cobblestone streets and the architecture. And like I said, my wife at the time was sick, so I went walking around by myself, and it's just an amazing city. Wow. I will say that French people would appreciate if you try speaking some French to them. As soon as I tried, they're like, dude, we speak English. You're really messing this up. But thanks for trying. Yeah.
That's great. And 3 things that you always travel with.
I have a Swiss Army knife that I was given at my first paid speaking event.
Oh.
This is like 30 years ago, maybe 40 years ago. I was like 4 when I started. And they gave it to me and said, hey, you know what? You're going to change the world. And so this you're going to take, and I bring it with me everywhere, and it always gets used. So it has, sewing kit, everything in it. It's got everything. And what else do I always take with me? I always take 2 copies of my book.
Yes.
To make sure I give them away to somebody in need or want, and they're always gone.
Yes.
And a toothbrush.
Toothbrush.
Yeah, you always got to brush your teeth.
Absolutely. Totally.
Everybody brush your teeth.
Yeah. What gives you a adrenaline rush now?
Well, besides waking up, I'm thrilled.
Made it. Right side of the grass.
The hardest thing you have to do every day is wake up. Yes. Ask anybody who didn't make it today. They'll tell you that's a big one. So waking up, and then, my son fires me up. And then the reason people procrastinate is they have impotent goals. Their goals just don't fire them up. I always set what I call your grand dream goals. Those are the goals that give you the most amount of joy to experience. They don't have to be big or expensive. They can be, but that's not the criteria. It's the ones that give you the most amount of joy. That's what gets you up and fired up to work on your day and go at it.
Love that. Amazing. How fantastic is Kurek? Please give him a big thank you. You're amazing.
And can I tell him? I have a book for him. Oh, yeah, great.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Our torch guest today is Jan Kranich, a chef, cooking teacher, contract chef for busy families and a downright awesome human being. Jan has appeared in a movie and recently met a young boy who has inspired her to share his projects. Let's find out more, shall we? Please give a warm girlfriend hour welcome to Jan Kranich. Love this colour on you. Please have a seat.
How are you? Lovely to see you again.
Wow, aren't these amazing?
I know. You want to touch them?
I do want to touch them.
Ooh.
Oh, they're really good
You can
too.
touch
I do.
Now, Jan, firstly, before we talk about these beautiful boards,
Yes.
you're a chef. Now, how did you actually get started with this? Did you just have a love of food like I do? But how do you actually get to become a chef? How did that journey start?
Well, I did my apprenticeship when I was 16, so a long time ago. But I just love food and flavours, and everything I do is around food. So it's just, whether it's markets, whether it's a phone call, a message, people are asking me to help them in their kitchens or their homes, or I get a group of people together. I do cooking classes down at Alvey at Cooperoo, and so sometimes we do team building events. So basically people come to me and give me a brief, and then I get to go in all different directions, which is really exciting.
That is so exciting. And tell us about the movie that you were on.
Oh, that was a long time ago. It was really funny. It was called Romance on the Menu, and
Romance on the Menu.
I was an extra, so I had a non-speaking role. And what was really funny is I've never been in a movie before. And so my husband and I actually played a little game. So we sat down with a bottle of wine and we played I'll Spot the Jan. And I actually appeared 7 times in the movie, which I was really surprised.
Well
and one of the boys that was in the same year as my son at school, he is an actual real actor. And he was like texting me going, oh my God, you're in the credits. Oh my God, you're in the credits. So it was very exciting to see my name up there. And so it was loads of fun. And I actually got to be a chef and do my chefy things and throw eggs in the air and get cross at a delivery driver. So it was like,
fantastic.
So it was really funny. Yeah.
I throw eggs in the air, but they never land where I want them to. I need to learn that skill.
That's right.
Now, recently you met a young boy and you were so inspired by his work. He has learning disabilities and he's created something amazing, which are these boards. Tell us about this story.
Well, Shar, I really love supporting local. So in all my classes, in everything that I do, I try to buy local, be local, whether it be cheese from the Olympus family. Recently, I've just met Lang Gourmet Sauces and I'm collaborating with them, building some of my menu cards. But I went down to this cafe to meet with a friend, as us girlfriends do.
Yes.
And there was this gallery that I didn't know about. I'm like, hang on, come on, Wendy, we haven't been in here. What's going on? And this beautiful lady called Ellen had set up this beautiful gallery with roses and everything. And because of my passion for food and flavours, I put everything on boards when I'm creating my stuff because it's natural, it's nature, and I just... I'm a magnet to it. And so I'm walking around and I saw the boards and I went, oh, Ellen, quick, tell me your story. What's going on? I love them. They're so beautiful.
Gorgeous.
And I stroke boards when I see them, all the timber. It's like, oh, my God, I could put eggplant on that or halloumi or, some Persian, and it just goes on. So anyway, then Ellen told me, she said, Jan, you won't believe this, but these are actually made by a 12-year-old boy. And I said, no. And she only had 3 in the shop. I said, I'll take them all. I said, it was just so beautiful. And I think a young person needs to be rewarded and they need to be put in the spotlight and told that, you know what, we're all different and we can all have a little special thing. And sometimes in my classes, people say to me, oh, Jan, I'll never be able to do that. I said, you can't be good at everything. But if you take a step back and do it in baby steps, and come to a class with me, I can show you that you can do anything.
Definitely.
So I think he needs to be rewarded. And I really love he's put his little Charlie on the background, initials on there. And it's just so beautiful. Like you imagine having a barbecue on a Sunday and you've got a glass of wine, some antipasti, you've got some prosciutto.
Now you're making me hungry.
And you've got some halloumi just fried up with a bit of lemon on the top. And then sitting over there. And if you do Jamie's style, Jamie likes to plank. So I love Jamie. I worship at his altar. So everything Jamie does, Jam does. So Jamie likes to plank. So I like to get some terracotta pots and I'll put them up in the centre of my barbecue table. So suddenly you've got a bit of height going on. And then I've got all Charlie's boards lurking around the sides. And so what my little plan is, I haven't actually met Charlie yet. I'm just fallen in love. And so I'm meeting Mum next week because I thought I'd better go and see Mum first and ask permission if I can take Charlie on my journey. So what I'm planning is that I'm going to go and see him next week and I'm going to order 10 of these boards and then do one of my cooking classes for Christmas. And what I'm going to do is showcase people how to do easy entertaining. So put all the cheese in the antipasta because some things I take for granted that I do, other people go, how'd you do that? But it's easy if somebody breaks it down into baby steps.
Correct.
And then when they leave, you gift them the board and they go away. It's like, so they not only learn a skill, but they also get to take home what they've made. And generally I do a 3-hour class and then we have a 3-course meal afterwards and drink wine if that's what you like to do. And so it's like ticks all the boxes, and then they get home, they can either give it to their friend or someone they love, or they can keep it for themselves, so it's like so much to be done. But I just feel Charlie needs to be the world needs to know about Charlie.
I think the world knows now.
12 years old. Like, girls, come on, put your orders in.
Absolutely. Let's get behind him.
Yeah, because
support.
We're not all good at everything. And I struggled at school and, you've got to find what you're good at and then follow that little path.
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
Charlie's coming with me.
Yeah, on the journey. You've got to love that. And Jan, as we wrap up today, tell us one of the most exciting things you love about being a chef.
Well, the farmers, what they grow. And so every day, every market stall, every fruit and veggie stall, there's always something that I'll go around and I'll go, oh my goodness, I need to take that home. I'm going to make marinated mushrooms. I'm going to stuff that with feta. I'm going to get bocconcini. You go through the markets and it's just inspiring. I think I love being around fruit and veggies and it's just so inspiring and my brain goes crazy. It's like I go home and make this.
No one's ever going to look at fruit and veggies the same again, are we?
No.
Hello, cucumber.
Yes. Ooh, baby, come with me.
I love that. Please thank Jan for being on our show today. You've been amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you. And this segment was proudly sponsored by The Lone Suite. A huge thank you to all of our fabulous lineup of guests today. Weren't they just simply amazing? What a journey we went on. What was your favourite part? Make sure you tell us on Facebook or on our YouTube channel. A huge thank you to all of our fabulous guests for today's episode and to all of our live audience guests and you viewers at home. We are so honoured to share this space and time with you all. Thank you to Liz Clift International for dressing me, Kix for giving me these fab shoes to wear, Feminiscence Magazine, Be Styled for Life, and each and every one of you for loving our show. I hope I have been worthy of your time. Okay, girlfriends, until next time on The Girlfriend Hour. Woo! You were so good. Amazing, and you look stunning. Thank you. Really enjoyed our chat today.